Welcome to my stream. It is a place where I don't know what I'm doing. Just moving stuff around arbitrarily on my desk for no reason. Ah, that reminds me. Welcome to my stream. Welcome to story time. Welcome to Year of the Black Rainbow. So watch it live if you want to. I think that's really cool. You can hang out in the chat. The chat's a cool place where people talk about mosquitoes and make jokes and is awesome and is also my personal research team when I come across words that I don't know, which is quite beautiful. Anyway, Coheed and Cambria, rock band, prog rock band, wrote a bunch of comics called the Amory Wars, and then in 2010 they released an album called Year of the Black Rainbow, and instead of its companion piece being a comic book, they made the companion piece a novel, and the novel is the prequel that explains the entire world of the Amory Wars and what's going on and who is who and how did they get there. And that's my weird description of Coheed and Cambria. I decided that I wanted to read that, and I wanted all of my nerd friends and people on the internet to read it with me and subject them to the fact that I don't know how to read. Anyway, let's go ahead and give a recap of where we're at so far in the book. Basically, Wilhelm Ryan wants to fight God. He's a mage. There's prize, there's angels. Mages have superpowers. There's some rallies. The humans don't like it because the mage wars get mad. They make the humans' lives harder. There's this one human who was poked by an angel, and then his brain was like, pfft, and then he knows some things. And then that human, who is a doctor, made Coheed and Cambria and Inferno, who all have code names. I didn't mention that in the last recap, but that's a different thing. Cool. And now they're fighting. That's it. That's the recap. I think we're pretty caught up. We know that Wilhelm wants to fight God. We know that Coheed has a crush on Cambria. Oh, and they all have... We've officially decompressed from the tragedy of chapter 11? That was chapter 11, right? Weird. Oh, this is weird. Chapter 12 is fascinating.
Okay, I'm confused.
Okay, we'll read chapter 12. It's long, but I think it's worth it. Who's messaging me? They don't matter. No, you guys matter in the chat. But the phone, that's not in the chat. Those things don't matter. Year of the Black Rainbow by Claudio Sanchez with Peter David. Chapter 12. Pearl of the Stars. From what I can tell, this is like Pearl's internal monologue / diary. We're going to find out. This is a completely different format than all of the other chapters. Thinking about Pearl's voice. Day 1. I am in heaven. This is what heaven is like. The peace, the quiet, being able to live within my own head and not have to worry about anything or anyone else. Yes, this is heaven. That is the mindset I am embracing because it is the only one that will drive that bastard, that fucker, the most insane. He is going to try and break me, boxing me up in this glass coffin, play upon my phobias, try to undermine me, to break me, so that he can then use me in some way against Leonard. He thinks he can do that? Fuck him. I will simply hold the image of Joseph close to my heart and imagine Ryan being torn limb from limb, and that will keep me sane. They have tubes jammed into me, providing me nourishment. I hear them trickling away, and there is a catheter as well to handle the waste. He's trying to turn me into a goddamn science experiment, trying to dehumanize me, humiliate me, whatever the hell he has planned. But it's not going to work. Do you hear me, you fucker? It's not going to fucking work. I'd yank out every tube and starve to death if I could, but I can't move a damned muscle. But that's okay. That's okay because you're not going to break me. There's a guard standing off to the side. He tries not to stare at me. When he does glance my way, he almost looks embarrassed. Maybe I remind him of his mother? And oh, look, Wilhelm Ryan enters the stinking chamber, gracing us with his presence. I've only ever seen pictures of him, fleeting images, his face always obscured in shadow. Even on the brightest of days, darkness covers his face. Now I see him clearly. He stands there on the other side of this room, which can't be much larger than 10 by 20, with its cold steel walls that reflect the glow of whatever is lighting this coffin. And he's not so much. His skin, a bluish purplish mixture, his face oozing liquids that any decent creature would have had the courtesy to keep inside his body. He does have an oozy chin. It's a leaky, oozy chin, and every time I read more about it, it weirds me out, man. Leaky, veiny chin. It threw me off the first time. It's going to throw me off every other time we talk about it. I don't like it. I didn't expect it. And Okay. He stands there on the other side of this room, which can't be much larger than 10 by 20, with its cold steel walls that reflect the glow of whatever is lighting this coffin. And he's not so much. His skin, a bluish purple mixture, his face oozing liquids that any decent creature would have had the courtesy to keep inside his body. No pupils in his eyes. They just glow a stale yellow. If you can see a person's soul in his eyes, then that explains a lot about the vacancy I'm seeing. 2 thick tails of white hair hanging on either side of his face. He has a hood pulled up, covering the rest of his head, and a shapeless garment obscures him from head to toe. And then there are those massive, disgusting horns. My guess is that his pathetic body is some bent skeletal thing, weighted by centuries of his evil. If someone stripped that robe from him, his power would be broken because the people would see the scrawny, impotent creature that he is and fall on their asses laughing. He's staring at me. The bastard is just standing there, staring. What's he waiting for? For me to say something? To break down? To cry? To beg for mercy? He's got a big fucking surprise ahead of him if that's what he thinks is going to happen. Nothing. I say nothing. No screams or curses or promises of what I'm going to do to him or what Leonard's creations are going to do to him. No fear from me. None. He's still standing there. Just standing. Staring at me with those empty eyes. Say something, goddammit. Say something. Boast of your superiority. Outline your plans to torture me. Open your lying mouth and tell me, I'm sorry? He says to me. That's it? That's all he says? With his face impassive, barely moving, I'm sorry? What the fuck? The bastard was responsible for my son's death. Where does he get off? He's leaving. He's walking out? Not a word of explanation. Nothing about what he's going to do to me. Nothing about what he's done. What he's done so far. He's gone? Son of a bitch! We're currently in Pearl's diary. Pearl is locked in a coffin. And we don't know entirely. Oh, and Wilhelm Ryan wants Dr. Hohenberger to work on the Monstar virus, which could potentially wipe out humanity and all of Heaven's Fence. Day 2. I shouldn't engage him. Shouldn't talk to him, but I can't help it. What the hell do you mean you're sorry? I say when he returns the next day. He tilts his head slightly, like a dog listening to a high-pitched noise. I would think it's obvious. Well, it's not. I'm sorry that you must be inconvenienced because of the actions of others. Inconvenienced? It's all I can do not to laugh. The comedy stylings of Wilhelm Ryan, ladies and gentlemen. Inconvenienced? Having to wait for someone who's running an hour late for an appointment isn't inconvenienced. You've got me shackled inside a fucking coffin. He's probably not used to anyone talking to him like this. He's the mighty supreme Trimage, after all. When he walks, women weep and strong men wet themselves and all that glorious bullshit. That's not going to be me. And let him lash out in response. Let him destroy me in a fit of pique. That way he can't use me against Leonard. And besides, it's not like I have much of anything to live for. Yes, I do, says Ryan. That is regrettable that your husband has done this to you. He didn't. You did. Don't think for a minute that you can make me blame Leonard for this. Although, he says as if I hadn't said anything. You are complicit in his rebellion against me. After all, a conscientious wife would have let the proper authorities know what her husband was up to. Fuck you. He makes a slight wheezing noise that probably passes for a laugh. A woman of your intellect, Pearl, and that's the best you can come up with? It's all you deserve. You admit to complicity in your husband's actions. I'm admitting to nothing. Torture me all you want. It won't get you shit.
Why all this talk of torture?
He sounds surprised, astounding. He's trying to act as if he's on my side somehow. How in God's name did someone this obvious, this ridiculous, manage to overwhelm 11 other mages?
Are you in any pain?
I can't move my arms or legs.
Why would you need to? You're not going anywhere.
Stop it. Stop doing that. Stop trying to pretend as if you give a damn about my physical comfort. Stop acting as if we're in this together somehow.
We are.
He has the nerve to say to me.
We, you and I, are trying to teach your husband the error of his ways. You were not willing to do so on your own, so I have to take more empathetic steps. I am doing what you are unwilling to do.
Yeah, then do what I'm willing to do instead and kill yourself. He says nothing for a time and then shrugs somewhere under his robes.
I'm sorry,
he says, and then he leaves again. Bastard! She does have a sailor mouth. The only weird thing about her sailor mouth is earlier when she cursed, like when Joseph was at the rally, Hohenberger said that was the only time she had cursed since Joseph was born. So, like, since she was giving birth to Joseph, not because he was born. She was very excited to have a baby, a bouncing baby boy. But no, she curses a lot. I'm also, this is hypothetically entirely written in her head voice, I guess, that it's harder to differentiate between the voices of her and the other person. I don't know. Day 5. Keep flexing toes, trying to waggle fingers. Only options left to me. Otherwise, we'll lose all feeling in extremities. What I would do to just turn over. Ryan returns. He's been gone for 3 days. Thought he gave up trying to break me. He'll see. He'll realize.
I am sorry,
he says again. I'll tell you anything you want to know if you just stop saying that, I tell him. I'm being sarcastic. He doesn't seem to understand. A puzzled look crosses his repulsive face.
Do you seriously believe that there's anything you know that is of slightest interest to me? You know nothing.
I know I'm going to kill you. I hurl it out at him defiantly. I want to see some sort of reaction. I want to crack that veneer of aloofness.
Allow me to rephrase,
Ryan says, as if addressing a classroom.
You know nothing of interest to me, nothing worth torturing you over, certainly. Frankly, you have been through enough that torturing you would seem excessive. There's the death of Joseph.
Don't you mention my son's name.
That must have been difficult for you. So recently, it must seem he was kicking within your womb. The moment you let Joseph ease out from between your legs, you might as well have signed his death warrant.
What a visual, Ryan. Why would you say it like that? We're going to say it again now that I know what the sentence is going to say so that I sound less confused by it.
That must have been difficult for you. So recently, it must seem he was kicking within your womb. The moment you let Joseph ease out from between your legs, you might as well signed his death warrant.
He shakes his head sadly as if he's regretting what he's saying. The lying piece of shit.
So easy to protect him while he's in your body. How nice it must have been placing your hand on your belly, feeling him kick. Did he kick at all when he died?
I won't let him see how I want to cut his throat exponentially with each word. I will not give him the satisfaction, no.
I'm just curious. I wanted to know how hard it was on you. Death spasms can take so long, especially if they're prompted by a shot to the gut. Of course, standing by helplessly and watching him die was like a shot to your own gut, I should think. Then again, you were there when he was born. It's only right that you should be there when he died. It's symmetry, after all. It's only justice.
I'm going to kill him. I have to kill him. I'll go mad if I don't kill him. Day 9. Where is he? Why doesn't he come talk to me? His taunting, his insidiousness. It's the only thing keeping me focused. I'm trying other things. Reciting lists of elements, different species of insects, rattling off shopping lists from 2 years ago, songs, singing songs. I can't sing a bit. Leonard says I'm tone deaf. I don't care. He can't hear me. Fucking Leonard. He should be here instead of me. Hold on. Day 13. He's back. Ryan's back. No, he's gone. I thought he was here, but no, or maybe he wasn't. Left again, trying to fuck with me? He won't win. Day 19. Not really sure how many days have passed, how much time. Might be well more than 13 days. I'm just guessing, estimating, using my heart as a guide. I can hear my own pulse. Slow, steady, 60 beats a minute. That's my resting pulse. 60 times 60. That's an hour. I tick off the hours in my head, try to organize them. I don't think I'm sleeping anymore. My eyes ache, but I can't close them for more than a minute or so before they snap open. Yes, it should be Leonard in here. Day 23.
It should be Leonard in there.
It's like he reached into my head, plucked the thoughts out.
You know as well as I.
Ryan goes on.
You're suffering because of him. What if I said I would put Leonard in there instead of you? Would you accept that and leave gratefully?
Go to hell, I tell him, even as my mind screams, yes, oh God, yes.
Or Joseph? He was the one who died and set all this into motion.
No, not my son, never my son. Die in a fire, you bastard. Day 27. Or Joseph? He was the one who died and set this all into motion? He says it just as if there had been no break in the conversation, and my mind screams, yes, Joseph, this is his fault. And I shout back at myself that I'm a traitor to my son, to myself, to my being a mother, to everything. And right back I go howling, anyone, anything, just let me out of here, please. And I say nothing out loud, but my lips are quivering and tears are pouring down my face, which at least means I'm not dehydrated. Where's Leonard? Where is his precious KBI? Why haven't they come to get me? Have they even noticed? Do they even care? Leonard probably doesn't. He's probably taken up with someone else, someone younger and prettier, and who never had a son that Leonard let get killed. Day 32. He won't stop talking. His words, they're like spiders. I can actually see them. My vision swimming in front of me, and I can actually see his words forming into spiders as they emerge from his mouth and they crawl across the floor and into the coffin. How they're getting into here, I have no idea. But they are. They're everywhere. Everywhere. Crawling into my mind, injecting poison directly into my thoughts, the spiders.
You can admit it to me, Pearl.
He says, as if we're good friends. God, maybe we are. He's the only one who comes to see me. Leonard's not here. Joseph's not here. Fucking KBI isn't here. Just Ryan.
You can admit it. What upsets you the most isn't that Joseph is dead. It isn't that Leonard has betrayed you by embarking on his mad revolt against me that has placed you in harm's way. It's that you're still alive at all. Survivor's guilt can be a devastating thing. You feel that you should be dead instead of Joseph. You can feel it, taste it, smell it. It's in every aspect, this wanting to die, this disgust that you're still sucking oxygen while your son is lying moldering in the ground. You're guilty because you let him down, because you failed to protect him, and you feel that you should pay the penalty for that. But you never had the guts to do that, would you? No, you wouldn't. I can barely think. My eyes are stinging me like 1,000 hornets. Like an insect, I want to crawl out of here, shed my outer coating and fly out of here. I can't. I'm trapped. But I can't let him win. I can't let him know. Day 37. His voice won't stop. Even when he's not here, his voice won't goddamn stop. It's there every minute of every day. He keeps talking, burrowing into me like a worm. That's it, like a worm, a coffin, and like the one I'm in, and it goes into the ground, and then the worms get to you sooner or later. They get through the coffin and into your body, and they're just devouring every part of you. There's no privacy. There's no part of you that's immune from their hunger, and they just eat at you. And they eat at you until your body is nothing but some pitted mass of fleshy colored clay. Oh my God, that's what's going to happen to me. That's what I'm going to be. That's what his voice is whispering. The spiders and worms, they're everywhere. The spiders in my mind, the worms in my body, they're just stinging me to death, eating me alive. I have to get out. I have to get out. And if Joseph returned from the dead right now, this second, and volunteered to switch places, I would do it. I would do it in a second. And there's Ryan's voice again, exploiting every weakness I've ever had. Reviving every childhood trauma, every teenage angst, every chink in the armor of my marriage, digging up every uncertainty like a gravedigger, unearthing the body so that he can examine the effects of the year's worth of decay.
He's trying to destroy me inside and out, and Leonard is counting on me, and I don't care, and Joseph is counting on me, and I don't care, and the entirety of Heaven's Fence is counting on me, and I absolutely don't care. I can't stand it anymore. I just want out. I close my eyes, and all I can see is his face, purple, dripping and festering, and with that horrible semblance of a smile and those soulless eyes contemplating me. I could sit in a bath for a month and still not be clean of how he makes me feel. I can't say that word on the internet, by his empty gaze. How much more of this am I supposed to endure? Day 38. He walks up to me, standing just on the perimeter of the pit over which I'm suspended, and he affects that pathetic fake look of concern.
You seem agitated, Pearl. Why is that?
I speak to him. The first time I've done so in days, despite the fluids I'm continuing to receive. My tongue feels like it's 2 sizes too big for my mouth, and I can barely croak out words, much less sentences, and yet I do. You break me, I rasp. You're wrong. You're so wrong. You've kept me in here for over a month, and I've had my good days and my bad days, but I'm still here, and my resolve is strong, and He looks at me in a way that he has not before. He looks genuinely puzzled. I said something that clearly makes no sense to him. He's not acting. He has no need to.
Pearl,
he says to me.
What do you mean a month?
A month, more than I've been keeping track.
Pearl, you've been here less than a day. Your time here can be measured in hours, not in weeks.
I laughed at him then. How pathetic a ploy is that? How desperate is he to try and wear me down, to break me to your lot? I say to him. You're the Prince of Lies, the Lord of Lies.
There is no need for me to lie. The truth is far more entertaining. Look at that man.
And he points to the guard standing at the door.
He's a normal human, no different from you. Think, have you seen any guard besides him? No, you haven't. He's not gone off shift yet. There has been no more to replace him. He hasn't even been here long enough to grow beard stubble from lack of shaving. There has been no changing of the guards because you have not been here long enough. Whatever you think is measuring passage of time is happening in your own mind, Pearl. Whatever you've endured, it's only the beginning.
I rack my brains trying to remember a time when the guard has left. It could have happened during the brief times I was asleep, except I'm sure I haven't been sleeping much at all. Certainly during all this time, at least once, I would have noticed the guard switching off. Maybe it's a trick of Ryan's? He ensorcelled the guard somehow so that they would never change, or maybe it's twins or triplets, or except in science, in all things, the simplest answer tends to be the correct one.
Pearl, if you had been here for over a month, wouldn't your fingernails have grown considerably? You can't move your hands, but you can touch the ends of your fingers, and your nails were quite closely clipped when you were brought in. Check for yourself.
I rub the tips of my fingers, the only motion available to me. Oh my God.
Pearl?
Oh my God, it's true.
They're not coming for you, Pearl. No one is. And we both know the reason for it.
His voice is everywhere.
It's because you deserve to be here. It's because you've alienated your husband to the point where he no longer gives a damn about you. It's because the creatures that your husband created, the ones who are responsible for you being here, consider you a hindrance to their mission, since you are a distraction from their maker. You are here because there's no one else in the world of the universe who cares about you except me. Not your husband, not God, no one but me.
Oh no, is this a Beauty and the Beast situation? I don't like that. And that's when the screaming starts. I wonder who it is, who is howling like a wounded and dying animal, and I see the pity on the guard's face and the amusement on Ryan's, and that's when I realize it's my voice. Only mine. He's right. I'm never getting out of here. I deserve to be here. I brought this on myself, and I shriek and protest, but I know it's true. I know it's true. Day 1. I'm in hell. That's the end of the chapter. that's the end of chapter 12. Yeah. I couldn't say a bad word that the internet doesn't want me to say because it's really bad. No, it's just one of those words that the internet is like, you don't say that out loud. Anyway, chapter 12 is a lot, and time dilation is a thing that can happen to people. And I guess that's what Wilhelm Ryan is doing to Pearl, is using some sort of crazy time dilation on her. This week was a lot. This week was super emotional on both ends for Leonard and Pearl, and it was intense. Dude, trash clowns are great. I very much enjoy having a trash clown in my life that knows the things that I don't know and can fill in those gaps. That's the important part of humans in your life. Like, don't all know the same thing. Everybody should learn their own things and like team up and help each other out to make cooler, better things. Because if we all work in silos, nothing actually gets done. True facts. End of stream stuff. Oh, if you subscribe to my Twitch and slide into my DMs, I will mail you a sticker. Buy stickers from me. They're of my face. I drew them. You just have to trust me because I don't have them with me right now. So like and subscribe. And if you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment because that helps the algorithm realize that I'm a real person who posts real things real regularly. I try to post things regularly. We'll figure it out. Speaking of cool people who haven't sponsored me, but they should, I guess, I've been drinking a lot of Dead City coffee recently because they're one of the staple vendors at World Oddities Expo. And shout out to Dead City Coffee, who made sure that I stayed caffeinated all day in Raleigh and like saved me from myself. And it was very beautiful and it was delicious. So check out Dead City Coffee. I think they're based in Wisconsin. It's okay. There's a bunch of World Oddities Expos coming up. If you want to see me perform at World Oddities Expo, because I perform with them often, you can see me in Cleveland. That's coming up in a few weeks. I'll be mostly seeing that show and doing the things that I do. And then after that, we're in Louisville and Nashville. I'm not sure if I'm on those. I said in the break in between chapters, Coheed and Cambria are going on tour this summer. If you want to listen to their music, listen to their music. It's great. I'll drop the link to the playlist I made of like introduction to Coheed and Cambria music in the description. But if you want to listen to Coheed and Cambria and you've never really listened to them before, I made a playlist that kind of like eases you into that. It is on Spotify. There it is. That's the link. So check it out. It's good. I am in full support of my Coheed and Cambria playlist. I even tried to add some other songs to it that I liked because I like more music than that is on that playlist, but they didn't fit into the flow as well, so I just took them off. Because basically, if you listen to that playlist and you totally hate everything that you've heard, then you're not going to look any further into their other songs. And if you do like that playlist and songs on it, you can always just go to Song Radio on Spotify or continue to listen to Coheed and Cambria, and you're going to find the other songs that you like. And they don't have to be the songs that I like because everybody likes different stuff. But it's a great place to start, and it's good. Subscribe if you want to. That'd be cool. Throw this video a like if you're on YouTube, and comment. Thank you for everybody who showed up in the chat. I really liked the chat tonight. I know it's usually only like 3 or 4 active people, but I love having an active chat because it gives me something to ground myself in between these extremely dramatic comic book chapters. Because they're real dramatic, and sometimes my brain does not know how the body is feeling about it. And then it finishes the chapter when the chat is silent. I'm like, oh, I'm just here by myself reading ridiculousness. And I've got so many feelings and nobody wants to talk about them. And so I talk to myself about them, which is pretty apropos for my life. But it's nice to have friends to bounce off of. Speaking of good nights, everybody, I need to eat food because I haven't really done that yet. And yeah, so that's the end of my stream. Thanks everybody for being here. Even for those of you who showed up late, I'm super stoked that you showed up at all. It means a lot to me. It's It's a great time. If you want to watch again next week, we start at 8:13. We read some chapters. So tune in, do the things, subscribe if you want to, leave comments, all that other fun stuff. And I will see you in the future. I'm glad even the little bits was fun. Okay, I love you. Good night. I think that you might want to translate alien sneezes. I scream after I sneeze most of the time, which is a thing that I did not know I did until a roommate pointed it out to me once.